Hello and welcome to a new class in construction scheduling. And today we're going to talk about network compression. Last time we were talking about project updating, and based on the project updates we might find out that the project was behind schedule or ran a little bit behind schedule. And we know that there's a concept called liquidated damages. However, liquidated damages do not always seem to be a remedy for the project delays, because some projects cannot lend themselves to liquidated damages anyway. Assume, for example, the Olympic Games, the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. This is an event that's going to be watched by billions of people worldwide. Can a general contractor, for example, responsible for painting the main stadium, say that, I'm not ready yet, can you please delay the opening by 1 day, or maybe by 1 hour or 5 minutes? That concept does not even exist. Therefore, in some cases we have to compress the duration of the project to take care of the delays in order to finish the project on time. And that's the main topic of what we're going to be discussing today under network compression. So time and money are two major aspects or two major functions in any construction project that the project manager has to master. Construction projects are always have planned and expected finish deadlines assigned by the owner and stipulated in the contract. So the contract is going to tell you, for example, that this project needs to be completed in 200 either calendar days or work days, depending on the clauses in the contract. And what if the contractor does not meet that deadline? So if the contractor cannot meet the deadline, the contractor may need to pay the owner liquidated damages, which are basically assessed on each time unit of delay. In some cases it can be an hour, in some cases it can be a day, in some cases it can even be in minutes. And it's not uncommon for some construction projects that are quite critical to have liquidated damages assessed in the thousands of dollars per minutes of delay, not even hours or days. Depending on the conditions of the contract, the contractor may receive a bonus, on the other hand, if he or she can finish the project ahead of schedule and the owner can start making use of that project on an earlier basis. Some contracts may also include a penalty clause in addition to liquidated damages, or as a substitute for the liquidated damages. It can include a penalty clause for late completion of the project. So the liquidated damage, as we mentioned, is a stipulation in the contract of a monetary amount that must be paid by the contractor if he or she fails to satisfactorily complete the project by the contract finish date. We discussed in the previous discussion the different types of delays, and we mentioned there's an excusable delay where the owner can grant the contractor an extension of time, a compensable delay which is caused by the owner, and in this case the contractor might be receiving some compensation from the owner for any extra losses that the contractor may have incurred, in addition to time extension. There's the non-excusable, non-compensable delay, where the fault or the reason for delay is the contractor's fault. And the fourth type, which is the most complex type, which is the concurrent delays, which is more than one reason occurring at the same time. So a substantial completion is usually accepted to stop the calculations of liquidated damages. A substantial completion basically is the date by which the owner can practically start making use of the project, and is different from the actual completion date. So the contractual final completion date is different from substantial completion, but usually in most of the cases liquidated damages would stop if the project is complete by the substantial completion date, or if substantial completion has occurred. So why does a contractor have to accelerate the project? In case of a non-excusable, non-compensable delay, which is basically the contractor's fault, if the contractor wants to avoid paying liquidated damages, they will have to accelerate the project. So this would be called a contractor-driven acceleration to get rid of a delay caused by the contractor. In some cases, even if the owner has delayed the project, but they still want the project to be completed on time, they would pay the contractor an extra amount to finish the project on time. Therefore, this would be an owner-initiated acceleration to get rid of a delay, whether it was excusable or compensable delay. So the contractor normal finish date is in the baseline schedule. If he does not meet that date, then they will have to accelerate. After starting the project and during project updating, contractor finds that the project is behind schedule. Again, in order to avoid paying liquidated damages, they will have to accelerate. Or if the contractor wants to receive time incentives, if so stated in the contract. The contract says there's going to be a bonus for early completion, even ahead of schedule, so the contractor wants to make use and to benefit from that bonus, therefore they might accelerate the project. Or even if there's no such bonus in the contract, the contractor might know that finishing the project early would allow that same contractor to use the equipment and the other resources on other projects, therefore gaining more jobs. So in this case, they might tend to or want to accelerate the project on their own without a need or without a request from the owner. And finally, if the owner has directed the contractor to accelerate, that would be the owner-initiated acceleration.